Marvel's Wonder Man leaves you wondering, as it's going to be the most meta show yet, and honestly, that's pretty exciting. Not just because of just that. Marvel Studios dropped a sizzle reel revealing all the Disney Plus series coming in 2025, and it's packed with some major first looks. We all got hyped for live-action hits like Daredevil Born Again, Ironheart, as well as animated shows like Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Eyes of Wakanda, and Marvel Zombies. One of the biggest reveals in the teaser was the sneak peek at Wonder Man, starring Emmy winner Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, known for Watchmen and Aquaman, who will play Simon Williams. In the comics, Simon is a business mogul who butts heads with Stark Industries before becoming a superhero. But in the teaser, we see a twist. Simon is introduced as an actor auditioning to play Wonder Man, hinting at a meta-comedy about Hollywood and superhero tropes. The teaser also shows Simon crossing paths with Trevor Slattery, the hilarious washed-up actor from Iron Man 3 and Shang-Chi. The show is set to drop in December 2025. Now, it might look like we are getting this series out of the blue, as nothing was announced during Comic-Con events or Disney's events, but we are not. It has been in the works for a long time. In December 2021, Destin Daniel Cretton signed a multi-year deal with Marvel Studios and Onyx Collective to develop TV projects for Disney+, including a comedy series already in the works. Cretton planned to produce through his company, Family Owned, while also returning to write and direct the Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings sequel. By June 2022, the comedy project was revealed as Wonder Man, with Andrew Guest joining as head writer who had worked on Hawkeye. By October 2023, Marvel Studios revamped its approach to TV, ditching the head writer model and bringing in dedicated showrunners. For Wonder Man, that meant Guest stepping in as showrunner. Then recently, Marvel officially announced the series, alongside its first teaser and other 2025 projects. Initially reported to have 10 episodes, executive producer Brad Winderbaum later clarified in November 2024 that it would likely have 8. Executive producers include Marvel heavyweights Kevin Feige, Jonathan Schwartz, Guest, and Destin Daniel Cretton, with Onyx Collective also involved in production. Winderbaum described the series as a two-hander, focusing on Simon Williams and Trevor Slattery, both actors, and called it a love letter to Hollywood. The show will also feature nods to Simon's appearances in the West Coast Avengers comics from the 1980s. Wonder Man has a pretty wild and complicated history in Marvel Comics, and I'd love to see some of that brought to life in the MCU, especially Simon Williams' romantic connection with Wanda Maximoff, aka Scarlet Witch. It's still a mystery how closely Marvel Studios will stick to his comic book origin. In the comics, Simon gets his powers from Baron Heinrich Zemo, who sends him to spy on the Avengers and set them up. But instead, Simon flips the script, saves the day, and becomes one of the team. I'm hyped to see Yahya Abdul-Mateen II's take on Simon. Watching him get his powers and navigate life as an actor sounds like it's going to be a fast, fun ride. Plus, the series could be a cool way to tie Wonder Man into the larger MCU. Simon Williams' MCU debut has me pumped for a bunch of reasons, especially the chance to see his iconic love triangle with Scarlet Witch and Vision come to life. Wanda and Vision's connection has been central to the MCU since Avengers Age of Ultron, peaking with their bittersweet story in WandaVision. Their relationship has always been full of challenges, and throwing Wonder Man into the mix would be an awesome way to shake things up even more. In the comics, Wonder Man's feelings for Wanda led to some major drama. He refused to help bring Vision back, showed up when Wanda needed him after she resurrected him in ionic form, and even had a brief romantic fling with her, but it didn't last. Like a lot of fans, I'd love to see Elizabeth Olsen return as Scarlet Witch. With Paul Bettany set to reprise his role as White Vision in the Vision Quest series, coming in 2026, adding Simon Williams into the mix could really up the stakes and add fresh layers to Wanda and Vision's already complicated story. I'd love to see Wonder Man stir things up between the Scarlet Witch and Vision, but it could also help push the idea of a new superhero team forming in the MCU. In the comics, Wonder Man was a founding member of the West Coast Avengers back in 1984, and in 1988, the Scarlet Witch and Vision joined the team. As the multiverse saga unfolds, my hunch about the West Coast Avengers showing up in the MCU is getting stronger, and Wonder Man's introduction only adds fuel to that fire. The West Coast Avengers first appeared in 1984, created by Hawkeye with Vision's support to expand the Avengers' reach across the US. I think the MCU's version of the West Coast Avengers could feature heroes like Shang-Chi, Ant-Man and the Wasp, She-Hulk, and now Wonder Man. If Scarlet Witch and White Vision join the team too, that would make for a ridiculously powerful group, and I'd love to see that come to life on screen. Wonder Man can not only introduce Simon Williams as one of the MCU's most powerful new heroes, but it might also be the perfect setup for the debut of this new superhero team, shaking up the MCU in a major way. What's really interesting about Wonder Man is how it's shaping up to be one of Marvel's most meta shows yet, and that's a great thing. Following in She-Hulk Attorney-at-Law's footsteps, this series looks like it's going to offer a fun and unique take on the world of superhero cinema, but with a twist. It's set in Los Angeles. The teaser doesn't show Simon Williams' powers. Instead, it focuses on the world around him. In the brief trailer, we see Simon auditioning for the role of Wonder Man in a movie, which is a big departure from the comics. In the comics, Simon became Wonder Man first, before getting involved with Hollywood. He actually started as a villain working for Baron Zemo and later joined the Avengers, eventually founding the West Coast Avengers. But in the series, Simon seems to be just an actor looking for work, without any of that dark backstory or connections to the wider MCU, like his rivalry with Iron Man. It looks like the character is getting a major reimagining for the show. While we still don't know how Wonder Man's iconic ionic powers will factor into the series, it seems like it'll be an original and fresh take on superhero movies, exploring what they might look like in a world where superheroes already exist. Wonder Man could be Marvel's most meta idea yet. After finding success with meta properties like Deadpool, Marvel is taking things a step further with this series. Much like The Boys and the recent HBO comedy The Franchise, Wonder Man looks set to explore the making of a superhero film, a really interesting and meta concept. Given the existence of things like Rogers the Musical in the MCU, it's clear superheroes influence media in this world, and it'll be fun to see how this is tackled in the upcoming show. Well, that's it. What do you think of the series' fresh take on superhero movies? Are you excited to see Simon Williams' journey in the MCU and how the show might tie into bigger Marvel storylines? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more updates on Wonder Man and all the latest Marvel news. See you in the next one.